would say that I'm not surprised with the lack of equal representation of Latinos and Hispanics in the entertainment industry.
I am not surprised one bit.
The obvious answer is no.
Historically, it's always been a white dominated space, so it's hard for people of color to break through and be well known, and along with a ton of other challenges. But
a great example of this is Rita Hayworth, who was a Hispanic born actress who went through the Hollywood system and completely had to change her heritage and change the way that she looked so she wouldn't look too Hispanic to fit the mold of Hollywood.
That diversity, we're only starting to see a little bit of it now. For example, in a lot of the companies I've worked for, I have only seen a handful of Latinos in the office or people of color.
And I think in these conversations, it's always important to note that, it should be a space for everybody, not just people that look like me. There's a lot of Afro-Latinas and indigenous people that deserve to be on that same platform.
Oops. 3, 2, 1. Hi, you guys. Welcome to episode 3 of Unreserved con Shay. If you are new, welcome. Bienvenida, bienvenido. My name is Shayla, and like I said, this is Unreserved con Shay. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that I feel strongly about, as you can probably tell by the little intro. We're going to be talking about the lack of representation of Latinos in TV and film. The caveat is, look at me trying to use big words that I really don't know if I'm using it in the right context, but I think I'm right. The caveat to all of this is that it is Hispanic Heritage Month, and during these months, people all of a sudden, come out with these articles talking about Latinos because it is our quote unquote month, and a month from this month or whenever Hispanic Heritage Month is over, there will be no talk about Latinos and things will unfortunately probably go back to the same, but I am hoping that change does occur. But we do a very good job at just talking about things and then forgetting about it when it's not relevant anymore. So to start off, we're going to read this little statistic from an NPR article. This is something I need to clock myself on. When I'm editing these videos, I'm like, Shayla, you literally don't even breathe. So I'm trying to learn how to speak slower. So that's what we're going to do today. Ana Cristina Ramon is one half of a team that has been collecting data on diversity in Hollywood for a decade and began publishing annual reports in 2014. Ramon is the Director of Research and Civic Engagement at the UCLA College of Letters and Science. Latinos account for only about 5% to 6% of main cast members in TV and film, despite being roughly 18% of the U.S. population, her research has found. It's a bit of a ceiling. It doesn't go over that percentage, Ramon said, although she added that TV has made much bigger strides in significant roles for Latinos than movies have. So I wanted to start off with that little statistic. And if you missed it or couldn't understand what I was saying, so essentially, there's only about 5% or 6% of main cast members in TV and film, and there's 18% of us, right? There's 18% of Latinos in the U.S. population. So here are the things. I am somebody that does work in the media field, so I can attest to that. And the people that you saw in the beginning clips also work in the TV industry. Some of them don't really work in TV, but they work in media, right? And I'm also very young, right? I'm only 24. I just got into this business, but I can tell you I'm not surprised. As you can probably tell, I'm not surprised about the lack of representation. So when these articles started to pop up, I'm like, why are people writing about this? Like, it's something that we should be like, can you believe it? Because, girl, everybody knows this. If Black Americans are fighting to be represented and they are from America, okay? If they can't even get representation, of course, Latinos are rarely get representation. Of course, people from the AAPI community are not being represented because, hello, a majority of these people that are in charge aren't really trying to go out of their way to understand stories that don't really pertain to them, right? They don't know about the Latino experience. They don't understand, right? Let's backtrack, right? I wrote a list, so I'm trying to let's go to it. This is my phone, by the way. That's what I'm looking at. So the first reason why I jotted down that this is not surprising at all is because if we are included in these TV shows, in these films, we are literally only casted for these three things. It's either about immigration, something that has to do with drugs, or we're talking about domestic work, right? And I will be the first to say my mom works at a factory. She's worked at a factory a majority of her life. And it's kind of frustrating that people think that these are the only three things that Latinos can talk about or that Latino writers can write about. No, because, there are going to be the people out there that say, oh, no, you guys are represented. You were in this film. You were in this film. Oh, but what role was I playing? Was it a drug cartel? Were you talking about how I'm immigrated from XX country? And don't get me wrong, those are important stories. But the people that are writing those stories are white, right? So they're just imagining what a Latino would feel like, which is insane, ridiculous. But anyways, that's the first thing. Those probably 5% to 8% that I mentioned are probably roles that are super stereotypical. And Latinos can talk to so much more that doesn't have to do with immigration, drugs, or domestic work. Like, not every Latino works cleaning houses. And I'm not putting shade to the people that clean houses because, girl, go ahead. A majority of these people that work in these, beautiful, not they work from there, but like, there's no shame in being a domestic worker is what I'm trying to get at. The point is, we don't need to always be in those stereotypical roles. So next, the other reason why I am literally not surprised whatsoever is this industry is very niche, okay? If you don't know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, girl, you are not going to get in. And it is sad because a lot of people put pressure into get an education. If you go to school, girl, you are going to be amazing. And I'm not lying, right? Like, I am working at a good place and I did go to college. I had no connections. And the only reason why I got to where I got is because of a connection and because I did go to college. But the TV and film industry is very niche, right? And people put jobs on LinkedIn or wherever else you look at job openings. And I promise you, they already know who they are going to hire before that position is even posted. And then people wonder, why is there no diversity? Hello, because you're not trying to be diverse. Honestly, you're not trying. Because a lot of times, if the industry, right, the higher ups are white, and they're only hiring people from word of mouth, even if they post the job site, because I think that's probably like a rule. You have to post that there's a job position. You can't go all out. You have to kind of fake that you're trying. The people that they know are probably going to be white because, I don't know, maybe this is a minority thing, but minorities usually stick together. And I'm pretty sure that's probably like what they do as well. Their friends, a majority of them are probably white. So they are the ones that get those job opportunities when they hear about an opening. And historically, film has always been white, right? Like, that's why people always wanted to look a certain way, right? Because it was only white people and skinny, blonde hair, green, blue eyes. That's all we saw everywhere. So we thought like that's what we wanted to look like. I'm getting off track, but regardless, that's one of the reasons. It's very niche, and the only way you can get to a high position or get into a TV industry is if you know somebody. It's not the only way, but a majority of the times you need to know somebody. And that's just the unfortunate truth. The other thing is these jobs are super unstable. They don't pay enough. There's no benefits. And a majority of Latinos, not all, actually, I'm not even going to say a majority. Latinos usually cannot afford to have an unstable job, right? Because a lot of, I hate with the a lot of, some, whatever, but it is what it is. This is unreserved. Oops, I'm sorry. I think I hit the microphone, but this is unreserved con Shay. So if you feel some type of way, I'm super sorry. I promise I am nice. Probably not nice people also say that, but I promise I am nice. I need to remind myself this is unreserved because I'm being reserved right now. But we're gonna take it back. A lot of white people have the flexibility or the luxury to, you know, not have benefits because their parents can help them pay for rent, or their parents can, you know, help them out while they just try to figure out the world. Some Latinos do not have that luxury, right? Like, I cannot just be, when you're filming a TV show or a film, this isn't something that's always secured, right? Sometimes a show gets picked up for 2 seasons and then after that you don't have a job, or you're not filming a full year, maybe for a movie. But for a TV show or something that's like a pilot of a show, you're not going to be recording a whole year, right? It's going to be probably 6 months. And then after those 6 months, you're like, okay, well, what do I do? What do I do now? Latinos don't have the luxury to just take a job for 6 months and just, let's hope that after this, I just get another job. But white people do have that luxury, right? They have already, like, they have family that can support them. Not all white people, but a majority, not even a majority, some white people do have that flexibility of like, oh, well, it's okay. I'm just going to try this out for 6 months. And then if I get picked up for another show, then great. If I don't, then we're still good because I know my parents can help me pay for things. Right? Right. So when people are super surprised, I'm like, this industry is not for everybody. If you are not stable economically and you don't have a family that can support you, girl, you is gonna struggle, at least in the beginning of your career, because it's insane. The other reason that I have here is, okay, they hire you, right? Because we're in a time right now where diversity matters, and you know, it kind of is looked down upon if you are a company, especially in any major city, and you a majority of your employees are white. It's kind of like looked down upon now, right? So companies, CEOs, higher ups are trying to be more diverse, which is great. You get hired, you help boost up the diversity percentage, and then they tell you, oh no, pitch, right, do this, right? Because they're very good at telling you or trying to make you feel like you are wanted, but then the things that you say are literally ignored. And that is so annoying. Like, okay, now you hired me, I am here, and a lot of times they want to hire you and you come in with this like expectation, like, I'm gonna help tell my stories and the stories of my community, right? Because all these times they're covering stuff or doing shows that are so stereotypical, and you as a true Latina or Latino or whatever phrase you prefer to use, feel so happy, like, oh my God, I finally made it in. Now I'm gonna change things, or so you think. And then you get in and literally the things that you say do not matter. And this is where it gets very spicy because, okay, your diversity percentage are up, right? You have the Latinos working in your team, but you don't appreciate their opinions. Like, that is the problem. Now, like, I think my friends said my friends were saying this. Okay, yeah, we're seeing diversity now. Yes, diverse people are getting hired, but are their opinions being considered? No. And why is that? Because I feel like some people have a hard understanding of just taking a chance on people, on stories, because at the end of the day, it's all about money. It is all about money, whether you're talking about a TV network or if you're talking about I don't know, if you're talking about film, whatever, a show. If you are not getting money, you're not going to go anywhere, right? So maybe these higher ups feel like if you tell Latino stories that aren't based on stereotypes, then they're not going to make enough money to survive. And no CEO is going to want to just waste their money on something that might not that might not do well. And that's the problem. If you really care about diversity and if you really want to see these stories of minorities being told, you wouldn't be so selfish to just be like, well, if it's not gonna make money, then I'm not gonna do it. And again, I understand, because if you're a CEO, you're not trying to lose money. I get it, girl, because I'm stingy, okay? I'm never trying to lose my coin. But it's like, if you're out here preaching that you care so much about diversity and you're not willing to take a chance, it's very just, I think it's like I want to say the word it's not contrary. It's like you're contradicting yourself. You can't be like, oh my God, I love that. I want to have diversity so much, but you're not willing to take a chance on Latino stories. Like, that is a problem. And then another issue is, okay, I think I heard an interview somewhere that was like, well, Latinos cannot complain because if they want to hear more Latino stories in a TV or a film, then they should just start writing more, right? Okay. I'm just going to write a TV show today. And who in the world am I going to give it to? Because a lot of these higher ups, you can't just send them a pitch about something. No, sweetie, they have agents. It's like a whole list of people, a ladder that you got to go through. If I am a minority, I don't have connections. I don't know anybody that's in the industry. Who am I going to? Okay, I promise you, if people actually try, there's so many writers and so many producers and so many people that are willing to write and create these stories. But even if they give it to you, you're probably not going to pay them what you would pay their white counterparts. B, there's no security. C, is like they just don't believe in you, or they fake will believe in you. Like, oh yeah, this is great. And you never hear back from them. And it's just so annoying. A lot of people, I think it all goes back to the fact that a lot of people that have power that can actually create change are the ones that are not creating change, right? Like, yes, you might have that like one producer that really is pushing, right? I'm talking specifically now about like films, right? You might have like a few producers that actually care, but like I said, it always comes down to the money. And who are the people that have the money? A majority of them are white, right? So now I literally admire Shonda Rhimes because she is creating stories of the Black community. And not only for the Black community, but she's opening the eyes of people, especially white higher ups who, I don't know, for some odd reason, never believe that letting minorities tell their stories in their own ways is okay, is possible. So she is paving the way for Latinos to be able to maybe get an opportunity, right? But the whole moral of this is when we go through these phases of like, oh, it's Hispanic Heritage Month, which I really don't like using the word Hispanic because that just makes me feel like it's a whitewash word of Latino. But no shade, if that's the word you like to use, that's totally fine. But I never go up to anyone and be like, oh yeah, my name is Shayla and I'm Hispanic. Never in my life said that. I always say I'm Latina. I keep hitting the mic. I'm sorry, girl. And I probably was not even talking slow like I said I was going to. But the moral of this is, please don't be shocked about the lack of diversity in TV and film of the Latino community, because this isn't something new. Like I mentioned in the beginning, Black Americans who live here, who are from America, are still fighting daily to be represented. And they're from here. And not saying there are some Latin Americans that were born here, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, they don't even get represented. So, imagínate. We really got to work hard to be represented because I hate when there's stereotypical roles. And you know what's the other thing that's very important? There are some Latinas that are very successful in film, but I don't know, like, are they reaching out? Are they trying to bring more of their people on board? I don't know because I'm not in the film industry. I guess I would fall under the TV, but like, I don't know. Are these prominent Latina professionals or actresses reaching out to bring in their people? Because that's one thing about the Black community. They stick together and they will bring their people up. like my good sis Shonda Rhimes. And if you know, why can't I think of her name? I'm looking it up right now. It's a new late night show, which I love. I love her. I'm bad with names. This is so sad because I really like her. I'm looking for it. Yes. So I'm talking about the Amber Ruffin show, right? The late night Amber Ruffin show. Her team, a majority of her writers are Black. And I think that is important. Like, and I've always said that. I've always said this. If I ever make it, I promise you, I will always make sure my people are included. And I think that's what needs to happen. If you make it, keep the doors open for your people. Like, no shade to my white people. And I hate that I always make it about race. But it's like, if you get an opportunity, bring your people with you, okay? Because trust me, they not worried about you, okay? You need to worry about your people, and you need to let our stories be told, because I literally do not understand how back then white people were writing stories and films and were covering stories that had to do with Latino community or any community at that, but a white person was writing it. Like, I just genuinely, because I can't even imagine me writing for a white character, because I could never, like, first of all, I won't talk like you. The words that I use, you don't use. And like, so the fact that a white person can feel like they're able to tell or depict a story of a minority when they literally do not understand what that is mind-blowing to me. And don't get me wrong, maybe there is somebody, right? Maybe there's that one white person that does know every story about every minority, and they know how everyone acts, because we know how social media is. I'm gonna get one comment that's gonna be like, well, I'm white and I know everything about X, Y, and Z. Okay, sis, maybe you do. Good for you. But not everybody should, okay? And I am saying I could never be able to write for a white character because we didn't have the same life experiences. We don't see the world different. We don't see the world the same. The things that I see, you don't see. The things I've experienced, I promise you have not experienced. So why do you think that you can write a show for a Latina? Like, it just does not make sense. I think there's so many stories that could be told about the Latino community, and people are just not willing to give us a chance because they don't understand. And who are the people at the top? White people. That, not all, some people are trying very hard to get us in there, but unfortunately, like, the system was built this way, and until we, the young generation, break down those barriers, girl, things are gonna stay the same. So I'm gonna end it off here. Thank you so much for watching, and only thing I want to end it on a happy note. Although I didn't play a song today because honestly, YouTube is playing games with me and that copyright claim. But just know that if I could have played a song, I would have played since it is Hispanic Heritage Month, I would have played Pepas by Farruko. Look for it if you don't know what that song is. It's a very hype beat song, but I've said to end it off plenty of times, but for this time, just know that if you are Latina, Latino, part of the Latinx community, or Hispanic, if that's the word you prefer to use, know that change hopefully is coming. And if you ever get an opportunity to work in these industries, please, please, please always bring your people with you, because that is the only way change will happen. Bye, guys. See you next time.